Until very recently, Andrés's life had unfolded within the gray walls of an office cubicle that many would consider monotonous. However, for him, that space represented the daily effort to build a solid future alongside Camila, his fiancée. The relationship seemed stable, cemented by years of living together and shared plans, until one night, at a seemingly innocuous dinner, the scales fell from his eyes in the most brutal way possible. They were at the apartment of Sylvia, one of Camila's closest friends, surrounded by a social circle that valued status and appearances above any other virtue. Between glasses of wine and forced laughter, the inevitable question arose: what did Andrés do for a living? He, always prudent, expected Camila to offer a polite answer, but what he received was a barb laced with disdain. She let out a condescending laugh and, in front of everyone, declared that he only spent his days pushing papers around a pathetic cubicle. The silence that followed his words was broken by the group's laughter, who quickly joined in the mockery, comparing his work to that of a mere corporate secretary. Andrés felt his stomach clench, not only from the public humiliation but also from the revelation that the woman he planned to marry viewed him with such superiority and disrespect. At that moment, something profoundly changed within him. Instead of confronting her, he decided to play along, pretending the jokes didn't affect him, while a silent resolution took shape in his mind. What Camila didn't know was that the company where Andrés worked was undergoing restructuring and that his pathetic cubicle was about to be replaced by a high-level management position in another city, with a salary increase she couldn't even imagine. During the following weeks, Andrés observed Camila's behavior with a new perspective. He noticed how she was becoming emotionally distant, inventing excuses about long workdays that had no basis in reality, while frequently mentioning a new coworker named Mateo. The comparisons were inevitable. Mateo was described as ambitious, with a new luxury car, the kind of man who, according to her, actually knew what he wanted in life. Andrés realized he was being used as a backup plan, someone who provided security while she explored other, supposedly better, options. Faced with this reality, he decided to act with the same coldness with which he was being treated. Without a word, he began to detach his life from hers. He canceled shared subscriptions, set up automatic transfers to separate their finances, and finally notified the landlord that the lease would not be renewed. Moving day arrived without Camila suspecting a thing. Andrés had already arranged everything for their move to the company's new headquarters on the other side of the country. True to her detached routine, she decided to stop by his office, not out of affection, but to confirm that he was still there, available whenever she needed him. However, upon arriving at the apartment, she was met with a chilling reality. The desk was empty, cleared of any personal belongings, and an unfamiliar face occupied Andrés's place. Asking a former colleague, she received the news that shattered her confidence. Andrés had been promoted and had left town the previous week. Surprise turned to despair when she tried to contact him and received only a brief but pointed message, in which he mentioned having found a better opportunity and that she would surely understand, thus returning the same logic with which she had belittled him months before. The consequences of her actions soon caught up with Camila. Her own friends, those who had laughed at Andrés, began to turn their backs on her, pointing out that she herself had sabotaged their relationship by treating her partner as someone inferior. Mateo, the man she saw as a superior option, quickly lost interest when he realized Camila was seeking in others what she couldn't value in her own life. Alone and facing the reality of having lost a man who truly loved her, she began sending desperate messages, begging for a chance to talk, expressing a regret that came too late. Andrés, for his part, read every word with the calm of someone who has definitively turned the page. Without seeking revenge, he simply left her in the exact place where she had mentally placed him, in the past, as a lesson learned about the importance of dignity and self-respect. The story closed with the silence of someone who has recovered their dignity. Lore, leaving behind a cycle of contempt to embrace a future where her success no longer depended on the validation of someone who never knew how to see her true potential.